A confined space is a special kind of place at work. It is mostly enclosed or shut. This means it is not open like a big room. It is not made for people to be in it for long times. People only go in to do certain jobs. It also has few ways to get in or out. These openings might be small or hard to use. This makes it difficult to leave quickly if there is a danger. Safety is very important when working in these spaces because they can be very risky for anyone who enters. Why do we call these places confined? The word confined means restricted or limited. The space itself limits how people can move. It can also limit how fresh air moves around. This lack of good airflow is a big problem. This restriction is a very important part of what makes a space confined. It is not like an open workshop. It is not like a large factory floor where air moves freely. Think of a small, tight area like a box or a pipe. This is what confined means when we talk about safety at work. Not all small places are official confined spaces. For example, a small office closet is usually small, but it might not be a confined space by safety rules. It depends on other things too. Does it have bad air that can hurt you? Can you get trapped inside easily? Is there a risk of fire or explosion? We must ask these questions to know for sure. The dangers and risks define a confined space more than just its small size. Understanding this difference is key. Knowing the definition of a confined space is the very first step to safety. This knowledge helps both workers and their bosses. When they know a place is a confined space, they can see the potential dangers more clearly. Then, they can make good plans to work safely inside it. If people do not know it is a confined space, they cannot prepare for the risks. They might go in without the right checks or gear. This is why clear definitions are so important. They protect everyone at the workplace. What specific things make a space confined by safety standards? One main feature is its size and shape. It must be large enough for a person to enter and do work. However, it is still very enclosed or shut off from the outside. The design of such a space is not for people to stay in continuously. People should only go into these spaces to perform specific tasks. Once the job is finished, they must come out right away. This temporary nature of work inside is a key point. Limited ways to enter and exit are another very big sign. There might be only one way in and one way out, or the opening to get in might be very small or awkward. Think about a manhole cover on a street, or picture a small hatch on the side of a large storage tank. These small openings make it slow and hard to get out in an emergency. If a worker gets hurt or sick inside, rescue becomes very difficult. This slow rescue process adds a lot to the overall danger. Poor natural ventilation is a very common feature of confined spaces. This means fresh air does not move easily in and out of the space on its own. Because of this, bad air can build up inside. Dangerous gases from chemicals or processes can collect and stay there. Oxygen levels can also become too low for breathing safely. This is an extremely serious risk for anyone who goes inside. Often special fans or equipment are needed to force fresh air in. This is called artificial ventilation. Examples can help us understand these features better. A large storage tank for fuel or water is a good example. It is enclosed. It usually has only small openings on top or sides. It definitely has poor natural airflow. Silos that store grain on farms are another clear example. Vats used for mixing chemicals in factories also count. Even some deep pits, trenches, or excavations can be confined spaces if they meet the criteria. Recognizing these features is the first step to planning safe work. Confined spaces can hide many different types of dangers. Bad air quality is one of the most common and serious ones. This can mean there is not enough oxygen in the air for a person to breathe and stay conscious. Or, it can mean that harmful gases are present inside the space. These gases might be poisonous and make people sick very quickly. Some gases can also catch fire easily or even explode if there is a spark. Air quality must always be tested carefully before entry. Chemical hazards are another significant risk in many confined spaces. Chemicals might be stored inside the confined space itself, like in a tank, or chemicals might be used during the work being done inside, such as solvents or cleaners. Spills or leaks of these chemicals can release dangerous fumes into the small area. Direct skin contact with some chemicals can cause severe burns or skin damage. Breathing in these chemical vapors can seriously harm a worker's lungs and other organs. These chemicals can be silent but deadly. Physical hazards are also very common in these restricted areas. Objects or tools can fall from above and hit workers. Workers might slip on wet surfaces or trip over equipment in the tight, cramped conditions. The temperature inside a confined space might be extremely hot or dangerously cold. Loud noises from machinery operating inside or nearby can damage a worker's hearing. Moving parts of machinery within the space, like mixers or augers, can trap, crush, or cut people. These are all very serious physical threats to safety. Engulfment is a particularly terrifying hazard unique to some confined spaces. This happens when a liquid like water or a fine, flowable solid material like grain or sand suddenly floods into the space. Imagine grain pouring into a silo where a worker is, or water rushing into a trench. A worker can be quickly buried by the material or drowned by the liquid. This can happen very fast. It leaves very little chance for the person to escape or for rescuers to help. Strict safety rules are needed to prevent engulfment. Safety rules for confined spaces are not just simple suggestions. They are absolutely essential to protect lives. Without these strict rules and procedures, people can get seriously hurt or even die. Confined spaces are naturally dangerous places to work. Because of this inherent risk, we need special, detailed plans. These plans tell everyone exactly how to work safely when entry is required. Every single step of the job, from start to finish, must be carefully thought about and planned for. Before any person is allowed to enter a confined space, many tests must be done. The air inside the space must be tested with special instruments. We need to check the oxygen level to make sure it is safe to breathe. We must check for any poisonous or harmful gases. We also check for any gases or vapors that could burn or explode. Only if the air is tested and found to be safe can someone go inside. Sometimes workers need to use special breathing masks that supply clean air. This air testing is a critical safety step. A detailed rescue plan must always be prepared and ready before work begins. If something unexpected goes wrong while a worker is inside, how will we get that person out quickly and safely? Someone must always be stationed outside the confined space. This person is called an attendant, or a standby person. Their job is to watch the worker inside. They can call for help immediately if there is a problem. They can also start the rescue procedures. Never, ever work alone in a confined space. This is a golden rule for survival. Training is extremely important for everyone involved with confined space work. Workers who enter these spaces need to know all the risks. They must be trained on the safe ways to do their jobs inside. They need to know how to use all the safety equipment correctly, like harnesses and air monitors. Bosses and supervisors also need training. They must make sure all safety rules are followed all the time. Recognizing confined spaces and managing them properly protects lives. This is the most important part of workplace safety for these dangerous areas. It greatly reduces accidents and saves people from harm.